The PlayStation Summer Sale 2026 is live right now, and your wishlist is about to get a whole lot cheaper. Here are 25 games absolutely worth your money. Demon's Souls kicks off the list at number 1, and seeing the game that launched the PS5 sitting at a summer sale discount still feels surreal. Bluepoint's Remake is still one of the most visually stunning PlayStation games ever made, presenting the brutal From Software classic in a way that looks like it could have launched yesterday. If you want to understand where Elden Ring and the entire modern Souls-like genre came from, this is the essential starting point, and the sale price removes every last excuse. At the second spot, we have Astro Bot, the PlayStation mascot platformer that took home Game of the Year and reminded everyone that pure joy is still a valid design philosophy. Every level is packed with inventive ideas and loving nods to PlayStation history. The DualSense controller is used in ways you genuinely did not think possible, and the whole experience has a warmth that stays with you for days after the credits roll. If you own a PS5 and you have not played this yet, that is a situation that needs to be corrected immediately. Number 3 belongs to Returnal, Housemarque's extraordinary third-person roguelite that remains one of the most uniquely PlayStation experiences you can have on PS5. You play as astronaut Celine, trapped in a time loop on an alien planet, piecing together the mystery of her situation through environmental storytelling across run after run of precise and punishing combat. The DualSense integration here is the most impressive in the entire PS5 library, and a summer sale price makes the steep learning curve much easier to justify walking into. Landing at number 4, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart was built from the ground up to show exactly what the PS5 hardware is capable of, and it still delivers on that promise in every single frame. The dimensional rift mechanics introduce Rivet as a playable second character who brings her own emotional arc to a game already overflowing with personality and spectacle. It is one of the best family-friendly games on any platform in years, and the haptic feedback during weapon fire alone is worth experiencing at least once. Fifth on the list is Death Stranding Director's Cut, the expanded version of Hideo Kojima's deeply divisive and deeply unforgettable walking simulator, set across a hauntingly desolate vision of post-collapse America. The core loop of delivering cargo, building infrastructure, and slowly reconnecting isolated communities through an asynchronous online network is unlike anything else in gaming, and far more addictive than it has any right to be on paper. The director's cut adds a meaningful amount of new content, and the PS5 version looks and runs beautifully throughout. At number 6, we have Kena Bridge of Spirits, the debut game from Ember Lab that arrived with the production values of a major studio release and the heart of a personal passion project. You play as a spirit guide, helping restless souls move on from the living world, fighting through a lush and visually stunning environment, accompanied by tiny spirit creatures called the Rot that you collect and nurture throughout the adventure. The animation quality rivals major animated films, the combat is satisfying and well-tuned, and the story carries genuine emotional weight from start to finish. Number 7 is It Takes Two, the co-op masterpiece from Hazelight Studios that won Game of the Year and remains without question the single best cooperative experience available on PlayStation. 2 players take control of a couple turned into dolls by a magic spell, who must work together to save their relationship. And every chapter introduces an entirely new gameplay mechanic that is executed brilliantly and then retired for something completely fresh. It works in local split screen or online and is perfect for playing with a partner, a sibling, or any friend regardless of their gaming experience. Coming in at number 8, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales delivered everything the original 2018 game promised and then some, wrapping it in a shorter but emotionally richer package set against a beautifully realized winter version of Manhattan. Miles' bioelectric venom powers and invisibility ability make his combat style genuinely distinct from Peter Parker's, and the story exploring his identity, his community, and what it means to carry the Spider-Man name is told with real care and confidence. This is the superhero game to recommend when someone says they have never really connected with the genre. At number 9, Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut is a cinematic open-world samurai adventure that still looks absolutely breathtaking in motion and plays as well today as it did on launch. The Director's Cut includes the full Iki Island expansion, which adds several hours of additional story and a new area that expands meaningfully on Jin's backstory. The atmosphere is dense, The katana combat is deeply satisfying, and the photo mode alone will keep you stopped in your tracks every few minutes, because this game frames itself like a living painting. Number 10 is God of War Ragnarok, which needs almost no introduction at this point, because it is widely regarded as one of the finest PlayStation games ever created, and this summer sale discount makes it accessible to anyone who has been waiting. The story of Kratos and Atreus journeying through all 9 Norse realms is emotionally layered and spectacularly produced. The combat is among the best in any action game, and the side content is so well crafted it feels indistinguishable from the main campaign in terms of quality. This is essential PlayStation gaming at its absolute peak. Horizon Forbidden West takes the 11th slot as a generational open-world RPG that improves on its predecessor in nearly every measurable way, while standing completely on its own as a story. Aloy's journey west into new tribal territories introduces a roster of complex characters and a mystery that unfolds across a campaign that runs 40 to 60 hours without ever feeling padded. The side quests here match main story production values in a way that very few open-world games manage, and the mechanical creature boss designs are some of the most imaginative in the series. At number 12, we have The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, which takes one of the most acclaimed and emotionally demanding games ever made and presents it in the sharpest and most feature-rich version available on PS5. The no-return roguelike mode added to the remaster gives the game significant replay value beyond the main campaign, and the story itself remains a devastating and brilliantly constructed examination of grief, revenge, and cycle breaking that deserves to be experienced even if you already know how it ends. The new graphical improvements and haptic feedback integration make this the definitive way to play. Number 13 is Cyberpunk 2077, a game that went from one of the most troubled launches in gaming history to one of the most acclaimed RPG redemption arcs the industry has ever seen. After years of patches and the Phantom Liberty expansion, Night City is now a living, breathing playground, filled with some of the sharpest writing and most memorable side characters in any open-world game on PlayStation. The summer sale puts the full experience within reach of anyone who wrote it off at launch, and the difference between what this game was and what it is now is genuinely staggering. Elden Ring earns number 14 as arguably the most important and discussed open-world game of the past several years, still generating massive search traffic on YouTube and the PlayStation Store heading into the summer of 2026. The open world From Software constructed here is unlike anything else in the genre, designed around the principle of rewarding exploration with secrets that most players never find on their first playthrough. The summer sale price on a game this deep and this endlessly replayable across dozens of different build archetypes is one of the strongest value propositions on this entire list. At number 15, Baldur's Gate 3 is the undisputed greatest RPG released in at least a generation, and a PlayStation Summer Sale deal on this title is one of those events that gaming communities actively celebrate when it happens. The depth of player choice, the quality of the writing, the incredible voice performances, and the degree to which the game actually responds and adapts to your decisions across 4 distinct acts and hundreds of hours of content places it in a category almost entirely by itself. You could spend 500 hours in Faerun across multiple playthroughs and still be discovering things you missed. Black Myth Wukong comes in at number 16 and remains one of the most searched and talked about action RPGs across every platform heading into the second half of 2026. Game Science built a stunningly realized mythological world inspired by ancient Chinese architecture, folklore, and the classic novel Journey to the West, filling it with boss encounters of genuine artistry and combat mechanics that reward patience and build experimentation in equal measure. The visual quality of this game still stops people mid-screenshot, and the summer sale makes it easier than ever to find out what the conversation has been about. Number 17 is Resident Evil 4 Remake, Capcom's extraordinary reconstruction of one of the most influential action games ever made, into something that, in many respects, surpasses the original. The modern third-person shooter controls and over-the-shoulder camera transform a classic into something that feels purpose-built for the current generation, while preserving the legendary pacing, enemy variety, and relentless momentum that made the 2005 version so important. The Separate Ways DLC adds a completely new perspective on the events of the main campaign and is worth playing immediately after finishing it. Landing at number 18, Alan Wake 2 is a cinematic horror masterpiece from Remedy Entertainment that arrived to near universal critical acclaim and deserves the full attention of every PlayStation owner who considers themselves a fan of mature narrative-driven games. The dual protagonist structure cutting between Alan in a dark liminal dimension and FBI agent Saga Anderson investigating ritualistic murders in the real world is one of the most inventive storytelling approaches in recent gaming, executed with a confidence that makes it feel genuinely unlike anything else on the platform. At number 19, Final Fantasy XVI entered the PlayStation Plus catalog in June 2026, making it the biggest edition of the month, and a summer sale on the base game or its expansions creates a perfect entry point for anyone who has been curious. The game takes the franchise into full action RPG territory, with a dark fantasy story of godlike beings called Icons, whose battles reshape the world itself, anchored by a deeply compelling lead character in Clive Rosefield. The production values rival prestige television, and the emotional weight of the narrative builds to one of the most impactful finales in the entire Final Fantasy series. Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth claims the 20th position as a massive JRPG adventure set partly in the sun-soaked streets of Honolulu, Hawaii, and still pulling enormous search traffic because of the sheer volume and quality of what it offers. The turn-based combat is inventive, endlessly entertaining, and filled with personality. The main story is genuinely funny and then quietly devastating in ways you never see coming. And the side content, including a full island resort building game, could fill 200 hours on its own. This is one of the most generous PlayStation titles in years at any price, let alone a sale. Number 21 is Star Wars Jedi Survivor, the direct sequel to Fallen Order that takes everything the first game did well and expands it significantly in scope, mechanical variety, and narrative ambition. Cal Kestis continues his story across a larger, interconnected world with new traversal abilities, a more expressive skill tree, and some of the most thrilling lightsaber combat sequences available in any Star Wars game across any medium. A summer sale discount on a game this polished and this respectful of what makes Star Wars compelling is genuinely hard to walk past in the PlayStation Store. At number 22, Hogwarts Legacy remains one of the fastest-selling open-world RPGs in PlayStation history, and its continued presence in PlayStation Store sale events reflects an active player base that has never really stopped talking about it. You attend Hogwarts in the 1800s as a student with the unique ability to perceive ancient magic, casting spells, taming beasts, brewing potions, and uncovering a conspiracy that threatens the entire wizarding world. The recreation of Hogwarts Castle is still one of the most impressive pieces of game world architecture on PS5, and the open world around it offers well over 60 hours of content. Persona 5 Royal earns its spot at number 23 as the definitive version of what many consider one of the greatest JRPGs ever made. A game so confident in its style and so rewarding in its depth that its 80 to 100 hour runtime never feels like anything other than a gift. The Tokyo streetwear aesthetic, the addictive calendar-driven loop, balancing dungeon crawling with social simulation, and a story about rebellion and systemic injustice that builds to an extraordinary conclusion make this one of the most complete gaming experiences available on PlayStation at any price point. Number 24 is Marvel's Spider-Man 2, the largest and most ambitious entry in Insomniac's beloved franchise, telling a story that weaves Peter Parker and Miles Morales together across a fully expanded version of New York City that now includes Brooklyn and Queens. The introduction of the Venom symbiote suit transforms Peter's combat into something far more aggressive and satisfying, and the narrative balances the weight of two separate lead characters better than most superhero stories manage across twice the runtime. The web swinging feels as good as it ever has, and the PS5 visuals are consistently jaw-dropping. Closing out this list at number 25, Stray might be the most instantly memorable PlayStation experience on the entire list, precisely because of how simple and focused its premise is. You play as a small stray cat who falls into a walled cyber city inhabited entirely by robots, navigating dark alleys, neon-lit markets, and crumbling slums, while slowly uncovering a mystery alongside a small drone companion called B12. The 5 to 8 hour runtime makes it perfect for a single focus session, and the atmosphere and environmental storytelling pack more impact into that window than most games manage in triple the time.